don't know if corporate D&D is the proper way to refer to modern D&D. Not modern fantasy gaming, but modern Dungeons and Dragons. It is a corporate IP. There are other games in that same vein that are just as terrible, unimaginative, oversimplified. I'm gonna start calling it faggot D&D. Does that seem a little bit more dead on? Oh, you play faggot D&D. Okay. What do I play? I play vintage gaming, OSR stuff, you know, where you can die. Where we focus on exploration and adventure and the hero's journey and not, I'll have a double latte from the half-orc barista. Before I order, what are your pronouns so I don't offend? I can just feel the anxiety coming off the boards. Reddit's cancer, by the way. If the woke mind virus is a thing, then Reddit mentality is straight mental cancer. I'm playing with my grandson. He's wearing me out. He's running wild. And I'm putting a mega dungeon into a 3-ring binder. That's what I'm doing this afternoon while it's soaking wet outside. So those $80 books don't bother me because I use 3-ring binders. I'm like, you know, I can wire bound that, right? I can just print this off and make a book in the basement. So all these comments about how expensive stuff is, I just go, except when the layout is all like all black or overly done with artwork. I want black and white line art. And I want it readable, and I don't want the pages done in blood red. Yellow text on blood red. That's just someone who doesn't want you to print their stuff out. Buy our book. Buy the book! That's what they're screaming at you. The 3-ring bounders stack nicely in the corner, and they lay out nice when I'm playing my game. Plus, I can always take... they got the pockets. I put pockets in for illustrations and handouts, some of which I actually make. You can coffee stain regular printing paper and then burn the edges and make it look very old, right? And I have done that for treasure maps and important maps for campaigns before. Makes it a little brittle, just saying. But that's extra. We can be a little extra for our table games, not so much extra for our VTTs. VTTs just means you got lots of handouts, and it's all digital. It doesn't have the same textile feel, right? I may do a table game soon. I have enough people locally to play Dragon Slayer that I can. I just don't like playing on the weekends at all. I have very busy weekends, and I enjoy those weekends, even when they can be aggravating. Enjoy those moments even when they're aggravating as hell. That's why my recommendation to any younger people out there. But yeah, he's a lot of ums. Seriously? Yeah. But shit, I forgot what I was talking about. Yeah. Corporate D&D. There's a lot of stuff that's just not my style. I really don't care if people play it. I do find it weird. And in some cases, offensive. And I got no problem calling degenerate, offensive shit out. And just going, that's fucking gay. I don't associate. There's whole classes of people. Don't step on my lawn. Don't fucking talk to me. It will not end well. You'll be walking around, oh, my emotions are bruised and battered. Yeah. I said I didn't want to talk to you. I should wear a shirt. Danger. Says things that will bruise your ego. I haven't had a random thing in a while to throw out. I've been reading more since the power went out and got it back, but I do like reading. I just put on the ambient music and start reading. I encourage everybody to do that. I'm debating about ordering a bunch of more books. Stacks of books I'll get around to reading. Probably should unpack some of the books I got in the cellar. And there's boxes of them. And I've not seen a lot of the new drams in this week. Maybe a definition of what is old school gaming, and I think it's more of a vibe. I'm using the language of the younger generation. It has a vibe. Old school gaming has a vibe. It does not mean high mortality. Oh, that's something else I was going to talk about. The corpse grinder games out there. There are games out there who embrace the high mortality rate, and that is their draw. It's a corpse grinder. And I'm like, the goal is to survive, not to murder your players over and over and over. In some systems, the mortality rate's up. In BX and AD&D, you can get killed with random encounters. In games like Lamentations and others, they're made to fucking kill you. They're not designed for campaign play. They're designed for one-shots. If you survive in one shot, awesome! But when you stack those murderific modules in a line, it's just a corpse grinder. And that corpse grinder just kind of sucks after the fourth or fifth time in a row. Some people really like that. But they're also the same type of mentality that's going to jump to a different game and enjoy a good campaign. And then go back to the corpse grinder. Yeah, that's what we're going to start calling it. It's a new category. Faggot D&D, that's 5e and its modern derivatives, and Thirsty Sword Lesbian, stuff like that. Faggot D&D. And then you have corpse grinder games like Lamentations. And what's that other one? Morgborg, right? Where it's just, you're going to die. You're going to die. There's lots of no-save death traps. There's lots of death traps that you just can't avoid. There's no heads up. You just step into it, you're dead. Anything that gives you mild curiosity. So it's like the big red gem in Tomb of Horrors, except there's no saving throw. And less warning. There's no ring of corpses around it. Usually. Sometimes there are. So you have these corpse grinder games. And I think they're fun for a one-shot. They are not designed for mega dungeon play, and they are absolutely not designed for campaign play. And campaign play requires a little bit of survivability. And that survivability allows you to grow into domain play, which is the end game of the game. To where you're no longer fighting monsters, it is intrigue. It is other players. It becomes a Braunstein or whatever, in a sense, if you allow that at your table. I don't want to run 15 people murdering each other. It's stressful. It's chaotic, and for me, you can't have an underlying story. There's no hero's journey. It's more a parody of our modern life, and I thought our games were a form of escapism to get away from this hellscape that we live in, right? Which, by the way, could get a lot worse very quickly. And when it does, none of us are going to be playing games. We'll be having to get our hands dirty and do things that are necessary. Neither good nor evil, simply necessary. And, yuck. That's a lot of suck. There's your true Grimdark. Now, there are a few Grimdark days I like where it's rough to survive, but the Corpse Grinder has lost all allure for me. They are only good for a one-shot. I like a good campaign play. And when I sit down for a mega dungeon or a game that I run, I am planning that if all things go well and there are no TPKs, it's 3 to 5 years of investment. That in 3 to 5 years, at the end of that campaign, players will go, well, we kind of want to do something else, but this has been fun. I accomplished. I like hearing that from players. I've never achieved this level. I've never run a keep. I've never had to deal with diplomacy. I've never had to do this. I've never had such a good time. That's my goal as a dungeon master, game master, referee, judge, whatever rebranding you gotta have to distance yourself from Dungeons and Dragons, or distance yourself from fantasy tabletop RPGs, or distance yourself from what we all enjoyed, right? We have to turn the page. No, we don't. You're going to keep turning those pages, and you get to a point where you're like, oh God, the 80s didn't suck. Oh God, things were so much better 10 years ago. Oh God, yesterday was so much better. Suck it up, buttercup, embrace the suck. But I decided to get random. I've not really felt like making a video. It looks like we're not going to have a live stream today. I've got grandkids, so I'm not doing my own live stream. I'm going to prep a little bit for my game, do some cooking, and hang out with some kids. Maybe listen to some music. But yeah, since everybody's rebranding stuff, they can't have the old names. We all can't be the OSR anymore. We gotta balkanize and factionalize the OSR. Oh, those guys play OSR, but sometimes they play faggot D&D. Or they're doing another corpse grinder. Yeah, I'm just being hypercritical. I'm missing playing some science fiction and Wretched. I haven't had time to do it. No one's up at my time to play in the evenings. I've been actually crashing earlier too, sleeping a lot more. It got quiet, which means I gotta go track down why they're being quiet. Later, y'all.